What is going on, Double Blue Nation? My name is Ian Miller, and this is DBSN Overtime. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 3 of DBSN Overtime, the show where we bring you all the latest news in non-Berlin sports. First up on the docket this week, let's send it to Alex, who has an update in the NHL for us.
Thanks, Ian. It's been a while since our last episode. We are about ankle deep into the NHL season. Let's go over some of the biggest headlines from the weeks we missed. Number 1 overall pick Matthew Schaefer is tearing it up with the New York Islanders. Schaefer has 11 points through 15 games as a defenseman and is a top candidate to win Rookie of the Year. Carter Hart, one of the 5 Team Canada players accused of sexual assault, signed a 2-year, $2 million contract with the Vegas Golden Knights. The Knights are under public pressure, with many saying the signing is disrespectful to sexual assault victims across the world. Montreal Canadiens' Patrick Laine will miss considerable time after undergoing surgery. Laine will more than likely miss the Olympics, where he was expected to play a big role for Finland. Speaking of the Olympics and Montreal Canadiens, Lane Hutson was a late addition to USA's preliminary Olympic roster. Hutson will head to camp in late January and compete for one of the 22 roster spots. 2020 first-round pick Lukas Reichel was traded from Chicago to Vancouver in exchange for a 2027 fourth-round pick. Edmonton Oilers head coach Chris Kallenbach is in the hot seat after a 7-6-4 start to the season, which included a 9-1 beatdown from the Colorado Avalanche. Now, let's talk about some of the games to look out for this week. On Monday the 17th, the NHL's newest rivalry between Montreal and the Columbus Blue Jackets takes place. Last season, Montreal just barely made the playoffs over Columbus, getting in by just 1 point. The drama spilled over into the offseason, where the two battled to acquire a defenseman Noah Dobson from the Islanders. That game will be ESPN's Game of the Night. Two of the hottest teams in the Western Conference, the Utah Mammoth and Anaheim Ducks, will face off against each other. The Mammoth had a very hot start to the season, but have since cooled off. The Ducks are one of the top teams in the NHL, with 23 points as of Wednesday, good for second best in the league. Finally, the Nashville Predators and Pittsburgh Penguins will play internationally in Stockholm, Sweden. The two teams combined for 5 Swedish players, most notably Erik Karlsson for Pittsburgh and Philip Forsberg for Nashville. Finally, to wrap up our segment, we have our Fast Facts. The top team in the Eastern Conference is New Jersey, while the top dog in the West is Colorado. Nathan MacKinnon leads the league in both points and goals. Logan Thompson leads the league in goals against and save percentage. That's all the hockey news we have for you today. Now, let's send it back to Ian.
Great stuff, Alex. It's shaping up to be an interesting season in the NHL for sure. Week 10 in the NFL just wrapped up, and now let's send it to our NFL insider, Ishan.
Thanks, Ian. Let's talk about NFL. On Thursday, the Broncos defeated the Raiders 10-7 in a defensive slugfest. There's not a lot of offense, but the Broncos did secure their place as second in the AFC. On Sunday in the morning, the Colts defeated the Falcons in overtime 31-25 in Berlin. Jonathan Taylor had 244 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns, including the game-winning one. Now the Colts will keep their place as first in the AFC. Now, on to the later Sunday games, the Dolphins defeated the Bills 30-13, as the Bills had 3 turnovers, which doomed them and allowed Tua's second ever win against the Bills. The Bears defeated the Giants 24-20. The Bears are now 6-3 after trailing 20-10 late in the fourth, but coming back. Jackson Dart, the Giants' starting quarterback, was concussed in this game, and as a result of this game, Brian Daboll was fired as a result. Additionally, on the Sunday slate, the Patriots defeated the Bucs 28-23. The Pats are now 8-2 and the number 3 seed with Mike Vrabel as head coach. Travion Henderson had 2 rushing touchdowns. The Rams defeated the 49ers 42-26 as Matthew Stafford threw for 4 touchdowns. The Rams are still tied for first in the NFC with the Seahawks at their 7-2 record, but now the 49ers are 6-4. The Eagles defeated the Packers 10-7, and even though it was a 0-0 low-scoring first half, the Eagles pulled it out. The Eagles are now first in the NFC, and the Packers just lost their first place in the NFC North to Detroit. Now, let's look to next week. On Sunday, on the 1 o'clock slate, the 6-3 Bucks will face off against the 6-3 Bills. Both Baker and Allen are fighting for that MVP trophy. The Bills are fighting also for the AFC East crown as they're still down to the New England Patriots. Later, the Chargers will face the 5-4 Jaguars. Both are currently seated in the wild card and are fighting for a higher placement, as the Chargers are the 5 seed and the Jaguars are 7 seed. Jacksonville is currently the most undisciplined team in the league and are facing a lot of injuries, while Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh are leading an impressive and efficient offense. It will be a battle for the number 1 seed in the NFC West, as the 7-2 Seahawks are going to be facing the 7-2 Rams at 4 p.m. Look out for a big offensive battle as JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba, the Seahawks receiver, is number 1 in receiving yards in the league. And the Seahawks' quarterback, Sam Darnold, and the Rams' quarterback, Matthew Stafford, are currently in the running for the MVP spot. At 4:30, the 5-4 Chiefs will face the 8-2 Broncos. This is going to be a key matchup for the AFC West race and will be a must-win for the Broncos if they're looking for a playoff spot. A key thing to note is that Broncos running back J.K. Dobbins is listed as questionable. On Sunday night, the 6-3 Lions will face the 7-2 Eagles. This will be a huge matchup, especially for the top of the NFC, and to see who will have a likely deep postseason run. Now, that's all for NFL. Let's send it back to Ian.
Thanks for that update, Ishan. As the college football season continues, let's head over to correspondents Jack and Tyson for an update.
Welcome to DBSN Overtime. I'm Jack Carter.
And I'm Tyson Mount with your college football segment. And Jack, we have a lot of close games this week.
That's right, Tyson. Another crazy game went down in Happy Valley. Number 2, Indiana traveled to Penn State, who has not had a conference win all year in conference play. Indiana was down 3 after back-to-back touchdowns by running back Nick Singleton. A touchdown by Omar Cooper saved the day after a long drive led by Heisman favorite Fernando Mendoza.
A thriller for sure. Now let's head over to Purdue University to talk about number 1 OSU. The number 1 team in the nation, Ohio State Buckeyes, faced a struggling Purdue team that was down 3-0 after an early Purdue field goal. And then Ohio State scored 34 unanswered points to bring the Buckeyes to their 13th straight win. They will now face the UCLA Bruins at 7:30 p.m. on NBC this Saturday.
Another great one for the Buckeyes. Another Big Ten ranked matchup in Iowa as the number 20 Hawkeyes face the number 6 Oregon Ducks. Oregon started the game with a safety, making Oregon the second team since 1933 to lead a game 2-0. Iowa would fight back, gaining a 16-15 lead after a Mark Gronowski rushing touchdown. Gronowski, the South Dakota State transfer, leads all quarterbacks in rushing touchdowns with 12. Oregon quarterback Dante Moore led a great drive that ended in a field goal with 3 seconds left to win the game for the Ducks. Moore is now one of the favorites to win the Heisman Trophy behind Ohio State quarterback Julian Sayin and Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza.
Now let's talk about this week's games. The Ohio State Buckeyes will face UCLA at 7:30 p.m. in Columbus, Ohio. Julian Sayin is leading Heisman odds with plus 160, leading FBS with the QBR of 91.1. Jeremiah Smith is 7th in Heisman odds with odds of 3,000. Last week, both players went viral for posting each other's Heisman campaigns on Instagram, showing the true brotherhood of Ohio State. The Buckeyes defense will look to shut down this tough UCLA offense led by Nico Iamaleava. Iamaleava played in the college football playoff against Ohio State as the quarterback of Tennessee last year and is looking to get revenge this week.
There are lots of ranked matchups this week in the SEC, as we will head to Tuscaloosa to talk about the number 11 Oklahoma Sooners as they face the number 4 Alabama Crimson Tide. Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson has impressed many in his first year as a starter, including Mel Kiper, who has him being selected number 4 overall in the upcoming NFL Draft. Simpson faced backlash after Alabama's loss to Florida State in Week 1, but has bounced back since. Oklahoma has lost 2 of their last 4 games, both being at home. A very disappointing second half of the season could see Oklahoma drop out of the college football conversation with another loss this week. Another SEC ranked matchup this week as number 10 Texas heads to Athens to face number 5 Georgia. Both teams have new starting quarterbacks this year. Arch Manning, the preseason Heisman favorite, has disappointed many during this season. However, his last 3 games have turned around this Texas season that seemed to be over. Georgia quarterback Gunnar Stockton has led the Bulldogs to an 8-1 record and surely another college football playoff appearance.
Speaking of the college football playoff, the second week of CFP rankings just released on Tuesday, and the top 5 remains the same. Leading the way is number 1 Ohio State, followed by Indiana, Texas A&M, Alabama, and Georgia. All of these 5 teams had great seasons, yet only 3 remain undefeated.
This should be a great weekend to sit on the couch all day and watch some football. Thank you for watching this college football segment, and now let's send it back to Ian.
Thanks, Jack and Tyson. In the MLB, the player awards were just released, and DBSN's Dylan Dixon has the latest.
Thanks, Ian. In MLB playoff news, the Los Angeles Dodgers defeated the Toronto Blue Jays in 7 games. Game 3 was tied for the longest inning game in World Series history with 18 innings being played, which ended with a Freddie Freeman walk-off home run. Game 7 began with a 3-run home run by Bo Bichette that made the game seem to be over, but the Dodgers started to rally back. In the 9th inning of Game 7, Miguel Rojas hit a game-tying home run in the top of the 9th and a game-saving defensive play in the bottom of the 9th. Eventually, Will Smith would hit a go-ahead home run in the top of the 11th inning, completing the Dodgers' comeback with a 5-4 victory in Game 7. This World Series was filled with action, with many fans stating this was the best World Series in recent memory. Dodgers pitcher Yoshinobu Yamamoto was credited with World Series MVP, where he was credited with 3 of the 4 wins in the series. The Blue Jays as a team overall played extremely well. Some would even say they played better than the Dodgers. Ernie Clement was on track to win World Series MVP if the Blue Jays would have won the World Series. The Dodgers hit .203 as a team in the World Series, which is the lowest for a winning team since the 1996 Baltimore Orioles. The Dodgers are the first back-to-back champions since the three-peat New York Yankees in the early 2000s, and they will look for a three-peat starting next season. In MLB award news, Nick Kurtz won American League Rookie of the Year. He hit .290 with 36 home runs and had a 1,002 OPS. He outlasted Roman Anthony and his own teammate, Jacob Wilson. The A's will have a bright future if they can keep this core together. On the National League side, Drake Baldwin won National League Rookie of the Year. He hit .274 with 19 home runs and an .810 OPS. He outlasted Cade Horton, who many thought would be Rookie of the Year, and Caleb Durbin. Baldwin was one of the bright spots in a depleted Atlanta offense this season. Stephen Vogt won American League Manager of the Year. The Guardians finished 88-74 and first in the AL Central. Vogt won the award last year as well. Pat Murphy won the National League Manager of the Year with the Brewers. They finished 97-65, first in the NL Central, and had the #1 overall record. Murphy also won the award last year. This is the first time both managers went back-to-back in the same years. Tarek Skubal won the American League Cy Young. He was just 4 votes shy of being unanimous. He is the back-to-back winner, posting a 13-6 record, a 2.21 ERA, and 241 strikeouts. This winter, he could be shipped off to other teams as the Tigers do not want to pay him, but he wants to be a Tiger for the future. Paul Skeens won the National Cy Young unanimously. He won Rookie of the Year last year, and he's the 3rd pitcher all-time to win Rookie of the Year and Cy Young in the first 2 seasons. The other ones are Fernando Valenzuela and Dwight Gooden. Skeens had a 10-10 record, a 1.97 ERA, and 216 strikeouts. Recent talks have Skeens have him going to the New York Yankees, but he wants to be a Pirate for now. Aaron Judge won the American League MVP with 17 votes. He hit .331 with 53 home runs and had a 1.144 OPS. He led American League in all hitting stats except for home runs and RBI. This is his 2nd straight MVP and his 3rd overall. He beat out Cal Raleigh, who had 13 votes, and Jose Ramirez. Shohei Ohtani won the National League MVP unanimously. He hit .282 with 55 home runs, a 1.014 OPS, a 2.87 ERA with 62 strikeouts as a pitcher as well. He's the only player to win MVP twice in both leagues, and he's the 2nd player to win MVP and World Series in his first 2 seasons on a team. He beat out Kyle Schwarber and Juan Soto. This is the first time in history that both MVPs are repeats in both the American League and National League. That's all we have for MLB. Now, let's send it back to Ian at the desk.
Great stuff, Dylan. To wrap up this week's episode, let's send it to Kevin, who has an update as the college basketball season gets underway.
Thanks, Ian. I'm Kevin Lanaza, and I'm here bringing you the latest in college basketball. There were a lot of good games to start the year for college basketball, including a thriller in Las Vegas, Nevada, where number 3 Florida went up against number 13 Arizona. It was a back-and-forth game with 3 different lead changes and 5 ties. Arizona was able to squeak out a win with the help of number 10 ranked freshman in the nation, K.O. Pete, who had 30 points. Another thriller happened in Michigan, where number 22 Michigan State went up against, at the time ranked number 14 Arkansas. Michigan State was able to get the win when Jeremy Fears was able to knock down big free throws to take a 3-point lead. Then a Michigan State stop won them the game. Now going over to number 5 St. John's hosting number 15 Alabama, where Alabama was able to get a dominating win over St. John's, as Alabama star sophomore LeBaron Philin Jr. had 25 points. Now let's go over to Louisville, where they took on number 9 Kentucky. This one was not close, as Louisville had, with the help of number 8 ranked freshman in the class of 2025, Mikael Brown Jr., when he had 29 points. The final game that we're going to talk about is number 11 Texas Tech facing number 14 Illinois. And even with the great game of Jake Toppin putting up 35 points for Texas Tech still lost thanks to their bad first half. Thanks for watching. This has been Kevin Lanazzo with DBSN. Now let's send it back to Ian.
Well, everyone, that's going to do it for this edition of DBSN Overtime. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow DBSN on all of our social media accounts. For DBSN, this has been Ian Miller. Thank you for watching.